What is up, people? So I honestly just sat down and I thought, man, there's been some certain COD game modes that I feel like they've just been forgotten. So I just wanted to sit down and just talk about 3 COD modes that I personally think I would love to see them return and actually give it another shot. Although one of my options here, I will say, they have tried it, but honestly, dog shit. I wouldn't even fucking count it, to be honest, but you'll see when we get there. But yeah, let's get going. So the first mode that I want to talk about is, honestly, I don't know if people even remember much about this mode whatsoever, because it's just been that long since this mode has even been given another chance, but it's the mode that's called Turn. This is a mode back in Black Ops 2 in Zombies, and it was just a nice, simple, fun game mode. How the mode works is basically one player is basically a normal human, and then the other 3 players are basically zombies, playable zombies. And the objective of the mode is to basically gain as much points while you're the human as much as possible. You get points just by staying alive. You also get points by killing the zombies as well that are trying to get you. And it basically has like this gun game element that you get to use different kinds of weapons as you progress through, but as well you get like more difficult kind of weapons eventually that won't basically just kill the zombie players instantly. And so it's basically just you trying to survive as long as possible while the others are trying to get you and stuff, and it just becomes this kind of just snatch and just trying to get, you snatch down to the players so that then you turn into the normal human and just fighting off and just surviving for as long as possible. And there's still the perk elements as well in this, but depending on what kind of character you are will change for that. So for example, if you were the human and there was a nuke and you picked it up, it would just basically be like if you were just playing normal zombies and they just died from it, things like that. And another thing is that if you were a zombie character, you had the chance to pick up basically a perk bottle drop. And if you were to go to it, you basically are guaranteed to be a human. And one last thing I will say about this mode is that I do like the fact that you're all doing this in such a cramped little area. It is just one of like the stops that you do during transit when you arrive at like that diner area. But still, like in that cramped little area, it does increase the kind of like intensity when you just trying to, shoot the zombies and get to your next weapon and things like that and making sure you don't get swapped. It's a super simple mode, but honestly, I really wish they brought this mode back into another zombies game. I really wish they did, but sadly, it's never seen the light of day for quite a long time, and it probably won't ever again. So the next one I'll talk about is Spec Ops. Now, yes, I am very well aware that they tried this again with Modern Warfare 2019, but I don't care what anyone says. That game mode has left me such a bad first impression. I never even touched the mode ever since. I never did. Never. Probably imagine like over the course of the cycle, it's probably gotten better, but to be honest, just was a complete mess. Thinking about the original Spec Ops back in Modern Warfare 3, that one you basically just played on the standard Modern Warfare 3 maps. In general, that mode, super fun. Basically a PvE version of zombies, able to use all sorts of weapons. Obviously some are definitely more weaker and some are a little bit better, but as you progress through, they eventually just kind of get weaker just because of the different types of enemies that you fight. Starting off pretty basic, but then it increases and again. So eventually you get to soldiers that basically have all this kind of armor that, they take a lot more bullets. You fight off as well juggernauts, even sort of like these dogs. Like at first you just fight off the dogs normally, but then you get dogs that are strapped with C4. And also you get eventually people that are strapped with C4 as well, or even just ones that are carrying around this sort of like toxic gas. So yeah, as you keep going through the waves, it just gets harder and harder. But then as well, you're able to, go to one of these like ammo crates, not just to buy weapons, but you can also get kind of like equipments as well, like a sentry, I think a grenade, like turret, other things like grenades, flashbangs, claymores, C4. You can buy body armor, you can buy also a self-revive. And then there's this other ammo crate that basically you can get in, I think, a total like 4 different perks, but to be honest, I kind of don't really touch any of that because I just think it's kind of unnecessary. But you can definitely also call in like air support. You can also get a predator, even some extra squad members as well to help you through the rounds. And now, after all that, just to go back with at least Modern Warfare 2019's version of this, I think what they did was kind of more in the step in the right direction in a way, at least to have it more open type maps. I think just that, like that idea, like on paper, it does sound interesting. I just think here, it wasn't executed that well. I would like to see this mode be brought back and give it another shot. And the last one I'll be talking about is War, specifically from COD World War II. Now in general with this mode, I am mixed because I liked parts of it, but then there's such like key sort of like elements to it that they really should have pushed more of in order to make it a much better mode. And that is when the example of World at War's version of the War mode comes into play. Because at least in that one, now although you do just play on the base maps, the one thing I gotta give it credit is that it was still a much more open, free possibilities to actually like roam around as you play. The COD World War II's version, I did like the kind of objectives that you had to do in that. So a map example would be Operation Breakout, in having objectives such as taking over a house, building a bridge as you're getting shot by different types of players, and as well as ones with MGs, and then having to either defuse or plant the bomb, and basically having 45 seconds to either plant it and hold it off, or just trying to defuse it before it goes off, and then having to escort a tank. So that's something that I like about it. So in general, like I would just say, if you can get like the different like objectives that you did in COD World War II's war mode, but as well kind of follow at least the idea with World at War's version of the mode, in the idea of having a more open kind of map in general that you can actually roam around however you want, especially in how you approach to the objective. And as well, probably add in at least like as you're going through, maybe add something with like some of the factions, like how it was in World at War. Whenever you get a certain amount of flags, like I think when you get like 3 flags or something, you basically hear your factions just screaming, just wanting to root R. So yeah, this kind of a mode, I think with those two things combined, could be a pretty damn fun objective mode. So yeah, that's it. Those are just some of the modes that honestly I just sat down and just thought, man, really wish they could return these modes back at some point, because they were fun in their own rights. 100% they were fun in their own rights. Obviously some could definitely be improved on, but some just bring it back. Honestly, just bring it back, just for a one-time thing, you know. But yeah, anyways, later.